Hi all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to cover the tragic story of 37-year-old Bobby East, who was a former NASCAR driver, who was murdered on July 13th of 2022 by a homeless man at a gas station in Westminster, California. I chose to cover this story because what happened to this man is unreal awful, and I want to share some additional stories along with it that have the same common theme. People murdered at gas stations. Now, I know murders occur everywhere, but I seem to have come across many stories over the years of people who were murdered at gas stations. And I tell you, gas stations aren't places that I try to go to often, and I never go alone. According to news reports, police were called to a gas station on Westminster Boulevard around 6 p.m. for a reported stabbing. They said when they arrived, they found the victim, Bobby East, on the ground, suffering from a stab wound to his chest. Police said they tried to perform life-saving measures while waiting for the ambulance to arrive. Then Bobby was transported to the hospital, where he lost his life. News reports say he was pumping gas when he was attacked, and I have not seen any reports that say he knew his killer. But I've read that police believe his attacker was a homeless man named Trent Millsap, who frequented the area. They said he fled the area after attacking East, and they were searching for him. Westminster detectives said Millsap had an outstanding parole warrant after serving time for armed robbery, and they considered him to be armed and dangerous. Then, after reaching out to the public for help, 2 days later, police received a tip that he was at an apartment in Anaheim. So police called in a SWAT team to go after him. Police reported that Millsap became confrontational and he was ultimately shot and killed by them. The investigation into East's murder is still being investigated, but police say they have no motive for his murder at this time. So as of now, it looks like East was just out living his life, stopped for gas, and lost his life. No report of him being robbed, no report of an altercation of any kind, just him pumping gas into his car, and he was murdered. Unreal. As I said earlier in this video, I know of many stories, too many, of people being murdered at gas stations. And it's terrifying because we all need to go to the gas station at some point, or we aren't going to be able to drive. So it's not a place that we can easily avoid. Like in this next story that took place in April of 2022 near Detroit, Michigan. When a 38-year-old woman stopped for gas around 3 a.m., police said the gas station surveillance cameras showed that she pulled up, got out to pump gas into her car, and then a white Yukon pulled up directly behind her. Then a man exited the Yukon, walked up to her, and started shooting. Then a second person exited the Yukon, jumped into the woman's car, and the two vehicles drove away and left the woman there to die from multiple gunshot wounds. She was transported to the hospital and listed in critical condition. No reports whether she survived the attack or not. The following day, police said they arrested 3 people involved in the shooting, and the shooter, a high school senior. He was charged with 12 felony counts, including assault with intent to murder. The man with the shooter who stole her car is 20 years old and facing 7 felony charges. And the woman who was driving the Yukon is 27 years old and is facing 5 felony charges. And for what? I guess they had nothing better to do on a Friday night, because police recovered the stolen car shortly after. It was abandoned. So apparently they didn't want the car. Police said from what they saw in the surveillance footage, the shooting happened quickly and without warning. They said, quote, "The robbery, there was no verbal threat, no threat with the gun, no attempt to gain the keys or gain the car. They just pulled up and started shooting." Absolutely terrifying. If you're one of the 7 million people who follow Mama Tot, who also goes by ShoeLover99, Ophelia Nichols on TikTok, then you probably saw her heart-wrenching video she posted about her son's murder at the end of June. She said he was shot and killed at a gas station in Pritchard, Alabama, and police are searching for his killer or killers. She said police believe he met someone or some people at the gas station before he was killed. And, if I remember correctly, I believe she said he was murdered the day before his 19th birthday. She said she's received an incredible outpouring of love and support from people online, but I can't imagine it's taking away much of the pain. My heart goes out to her. And we're not done. In July of 2021, police say a man approached another man filling up his car at a gas station in Racine County in Wisconsin and viciously executed him. Then he shot at a car that was pulling into the station, but the person driving that car was able to drive away unhurt. Then he drove to a mobile gas station 2 miles away and shot at an undercover sheriff's investigator who happened to be there filling up his car. Police say the investigator returned fire, and there was a shootout until the suspect was shot and killed. The investigator was also shot, but he survived. The attack took place around 7:30 in the morning, when police say the gas station was busy with activity, and they believe the investigator prevented a much worse scenario from taking place. And again, in April of 2022, Kayla Montano, her 7-year-old child, her fiance, and other family members stopped at a gas station in Albuquerque, New Mexico on their way to a day out together when their car was shot at. Kayla's fiance, who was driving, was able to speed away, but their car was found by police about 2 miles away, with Kayla dead inside from her injuries and her fiance bleeding from being grazed by a bullet. As police searched for Kayla's killer, 5 teens, 5, eventually came forward and were arrested for the deadly attack. They told police that they mistakenly thought Kayla was someone who had tried to rob them earlier in the day. One of the suspects was only 17 years old and told police she was 6 months pregnant at the time of the attack. 2 of the boys who police believe killed Kayla and shot her fiance were only 15 and 16 years old. The attorney for the state in this case said, "An innocent individual lost their life because these individuals, these young boys, decided to arm themselves with firearms and shoot into not only a crowded gas station, but into this vehicle that had multiple people in it, to include a minor child." How incredibly tragic. And you know there are so many more stories just like this out there to be told. Are we safe anywhere? My heart goes out to the victims in all these horrible stories and their loved ones. I know that we all stop for gas without thinking twice about our safety, but we can't really anymore. Please, stay safe out there. Pay attention and stay aware of your surroundings. If something doesn't look or feel right, listen to your gut. But, unfortunately, sometimes we get no warning. I'll be praying for us all. Trust me. Take care, and I'll see you on my next video.